Well, we have now, next speaker is Elena González Blanco. She's a professor here in UNED. She's in the philology faculty there. And she's director of the Digital Humanities Innovation Lab. It's a really recent development here in UNED. And he's doing work in the medieval literature, digital humanities, and metrics and poetry. His work will present us is EVILINHD. I hope I can spell it okay. A virtual research environment for the digital humanities innovation. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, Manuel. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today because of two reasons. First, because it's an engineering and virtual instrumentation conference, which is very different from my natural environment, which is a humanities department. But I'm really excited to see so many interesting projects and much more related with what I am doing that I thought at the beginning. So I'm going to present you a very innovative project from an interdisciplinary point of view, which is a virtual lab for humanities. First of all, I want to put you a bit of context in order for you to understand what we are exactly doing. I want to present you LINHD, which is our Digital Humanities Center, a Digital Humanities Innovation Lab created at UNED at the first center in Spain, following the example of International Digital Humanities Center, especially in the United States, and following especially the spirit of combining new media and technologies used for humanities-based research, for teaching, researching, and intellectual engagement and experimentation. The goals of this kind of centers are to take further humanities scholarship, like creating new forms of knowledge. It's not just an application of technologies to our scholarship field, but taking results further in order to get innovative research developments. And that's our spirit, especially the creation of the hacking the humanities environment. So, in our university, this kind of interdisciplinary center, it's depending on the vice director of research, and it combines the participation of humanities and social science schools, different faculties, and the School of Computer Science and Engineering. And also with the help of our digital media and distant teaching methods in TECA and CEMAP, which is our studio for digital recording. And of course, our library with its digital databases and information systems. The center was created in 2014, so we are pretty young in comparison with other digital humanities centers in the world, but we are following the spirit of other centers in the world. The first center were created in the United States, and later they have been created in Europe, so now they are having a big impact in Asia, and especially in Japan, Korea, Australia, and more they are growing in Latin America. But each of these centers that appear in this picture have a very different spirit and focus. Some of them are focused on text edition or text natural language processing or text annotation. Some of them are focused on image processing. Others are more focused on digital infrastructure. Others are more oriented to focus on collaborating between different kinds of teams. Some of them are devoted to media studies. So we have very different profiles of digital humanities center in the world, as the tax is very wide. Now I want to show a little bit how we have conceived our structure based on 4 pillars. The first pillar is innovation and research, as we are developing research projects for humanities problem. We have different science fields as in humanities, such as linguistics, literature, history, art, education, or psychology, and we are developing different kinds of projects. We have also a very strong focus on training, and as we are offering specializing training system, both as long programs. We are offering like 2 masters, one in digital humanities and another one in digital education and digital editions. And we are also offering short summer school each year with different kind of topics. And also short seminars and conferences depending on the interest of people, the hot topics, or the visiting researchers that we receive. Our third pillar is information and dissemination, as we are also centered as a digital humanities Spanish-speaking center. And although our communication language is English, we act sometimes as a bridge between English-speaking digital humanities European world and also Latin American developing digital humanities institutions. So we try to manage this kind of bilingualism in terms of disseminating results in both in English and in Spanish. So we have organized a blogging event for humanities research dissemination, which is called the Day of the Age, and we are hosting this year's edition. And last, we are often consulting and services, technological service for humanities projects for people that come into our center from humanities field and wants to transform the research using digital technologies, but they don't want to know how to do this, and we help them to assemble the ideas, to transform the project, and to learn the digital tools to create and to implement the results. In this sense, we have different kinds of projects. Some of them are related to databases. For example, this is a digital repertoire of metricas and poetry for Spanish poetry. We also have digital editions. This is a project in collaboration with the Royal Library of Madrid for editing manuscripts and putting image line recognition. We also have visualization projects that combine the previously described technologies with, for example, geographical information system or graphical representation. But the problem was that all these projects are nice, but are very individualized. And we thought last year we should create some kind of virtual environment, virtual lab, in order to let humanities researchers in general to be able to work alone, to create project, the whole process, and also to involve students in creating this kind of digital project. And that we started to work in our EVILINHD, which is our virtual research environment for digital humanities. This kind of virtual lab or virtual environment is especially different because it's conceived by digital humanists for humanists. It means the people who want to work there are humanists, but humanists who works to create a project in a digital way, that want to get different results of research. It is a cloud service hosted on our servers, so researchers don't have to download parts of software or to learn specific kind of technologies, and they will work on the cloud. And one of the important points is that they work in a collaborative way with people of their team, and they will have the information management system together. We have take the tools and the parts of the project that we already created before, as this tool, which is JScribe, a tool that we created last year for a project which is oriented to tags in XML text, for a literary text, using a standard for tagging in humanities. And we have combined these kind of tools with already existing open source CMS and digital humanities resources. This is more or less the full structure of what we can find or what we can do in our environment. We have, for example, an instance of WordPress, which we can choose or combine with Omeka, which is a CMS created for special digital library collections. And we also have this TI XML environment to work with Digital Scholar Edition, which is based on a XSDB XML database. And we also have a set of tools which enable team working, such as Wiki, Drive, and some forums to send messages between the different members of the team. So with all this stuff, we can create different kinds of projects, which are each of them integrated by the combination of the previous modules in some different ways. So each project will have a team and a combination of the previous tools, some of them all, or depending on the needs of the project. The project manager will choose which kind of pieces they want to include, and also the users that he wants to put in. And he can configure the whole environment and see in their desktop what they want to see. So we also will have users that could collaborate in different projects, and this will be a structure that will let us to work with a different kind of students and groups in order to create different kinds of projects, depending on the complexity and the orientation of the project. For example, if we are working with digital edition, we will probably need the combination of this XML tagging tool with the database management system. But if we are creating just a digital collection for documents, we will need this digital environment for editing, but we will also need WordPress to show the results. The idea is that a project can be done from the beginning to the end, to the publication, inside the environment without getting out and in collaboration with other researchers. From the point of view of our architecture, we are combining most of them free software pieces and existing resources. We are working on Ubuntu server. We are using a Silex framework and PHP and SQL databases and the tools of WordPress, Omeka, and this kind of stuff. And we are also integrating our metadata in a repository, which is also very important because it will let us index and recover all the data from the different projects from inside our virtual lab and from outside too, if they want to register and to be linked or related with existing projects. So this is more or less the technological tools that we have used, which have the advantages are pretty lightweight. They are most of them free, and they are standard for the internet and work pretty well. So what we wanted to do is easy-going environment and especially focus for the user work in humanities and especially for users that doesn't have a high experience in working with technology but want to create a different kind of projects. And I hope you like the idea, and what I want to say is that there is so much work to do in humanities that I got a lot of ideas of seeing your interesting labs and projects, and I hope that we will be able to collaborate some way, creating some kind of standard also applied for humanities too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Elena. I believe in today's world we need a lot of synergies in all the areas, and I believe that we are in our environment, of course, we have a lot of multi-environment, multi-science working, and I believe we have a lot of synergy there. Some questions for Elena? No questions, or people is completely exhausted now?
As you are from the field of humanities, what is, in your estimation, the percentage of time that your students require to be educated in the field of the IT in order to be able to use all those digital tools?
Yeah, thanks a lot for the question because it's a very relevant question. The problem is this depends on the country, and if you see the international panorama, it varies a lot from country to country because the situation in Spain is not very good in this sense because we, in humanities, we don't have any training for IT or for technological training. So the students that we get involved for this project, they are from different areas or they have like special interest, but it's not easy to get a normal student to put an XML tags on their text or things like that. It's very, very hard. I mean, we usually find like different students with obscure past from technological areas or something like that, because normal student doesn't get involved easily in this kind of stuff. And also because if we have a PhD student, they have at least to invest 1 year in this kind of things, or they come from masters in digital libraries or these kind of things, but they need at least 1 training year to start understanding this kind of stuff. Because we don't want they to program, but to understand how XML works or how a database is built, and this kind of thing is hard.
One question I have, what are your target or your expectations of the objectives of the project in a short term, 1 year, 2 years of working?
Well, what we want to get is that our colleagues in humanities understand that we have to transform our ways of research, because in humanities we don't have this sense of science is moving our ways of research. We have a lot of colleagues continue working with a pen and paper like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the feeling that we want to transmit with this kind of projects is that things have changed a lot and we can create very different projects using a small part of technologies. So the idea is like transform our environment using this kind of tools, and which enables them to create digital things without investing a big effort. That's the idea, to ease the user experience in terms of humanities researchers.
Some more questions? Okay. Thank you very much, Elena.